proud of our guys. Thought we came out tonight with the right energy and the right mentality to stay consistent and keep this thing moving forward. Wound up winning an SEC game going away. That's always hard to do and really impressive. We outrushed them 299-77. That's going to win you a lot of football games in this conference when you can control the physical matchup like that. We were really good on third down on defense, which I think is critical against an offense like that because, the tempo and the pace can't really get going until they get first downs. And so if you could be really good on third down, that really helps. We were really good on offense on third down. It was our best third down night of the year. And so, we won the time of possession 38-21. And that's another thing that's really, really big when you're playing those spread offenses that are trying to build reps and build tempo. And so thought we did a lot of really, really good things. Obviously offensively wasn't the best first half. Thought we stayed with it. So we kept pounding away, kept grinding at it. And obviously I think we ultimately wore them down in the second half a little bit. And again, it's another 260 margin yard game. And so just got to keep grinding, continue to get better. And, we're going to have a really, really good Florida team coming in here next week, and we'll have to get ready for that. So from there, we'll open it up to questions.
Front left, Olin.
Yeah, Mike, can you share with us what your disposition might have been like at halftime, and what kind of words of wisdom did you say to get them going?
No, very calm. The thought that coaches come in and start throwing things, it really wasn't that. I think we had to find ways to get Marcel settled down. I think we all knew that. He saw some things not clean enough, missed a couple throws. We had the turnover as we were getting in the red zone to score points. We had the fourth down stop again as we were going in to score points. And so, it wasn't all negative in the first half, but we had to find ways to get into a rhythm. And so it really was more just about you're in an SEC football game. SEC football games are not easy. They're going to be four-quarter football games. And so get this out of your mind that this thing is going to go clean and smooth and just go out there and compete and grind. And we did that in the second half, and we were able to have some success.
And I wanted to ask about if you could share what kind of defensive adjustments might have been made after that first long drive for the field goal. They really didn't move the ball again until late. Yeah,
I think there's always a little bit of a feeling out when you play that tempo in the offense and the pace that they go at, and it always usually takes you a drive or two to get settled in. And so I don't know that we made a ton of adjustments or did things a lot different. I just think we were able to kind of adapt to how they were trying to attack us. I thought we had a good feel for how they were trying to attack us, and maybe our kids just got a little bit more comfortable with how to run the defense against what they were trying to do to us.
Coach, front right, Tony.
Coach, obviously back-to-back weeks, Damian Sanford stepped into a starter role here. Can you just talk about the impact he's made and what's allowed him to be so successful?
Yeah, first of all, he's a phenomenal kid. He works really hard in practice. Mentally, he never ever blinked. When he didn't win the starting job or he didn't have the role that he wanted to have the first few weeks, he just wanted to know what he could do to keep playing. And I told him, I said, I love you. You just gotta keep working. You got to keep grinding. Your chance is going to come, and you just got to be ready. And his chances come, and he's played really, really well. And so, had another really, really big night tonight.
To the left, second row, Aaron.
Hey, Coach. You guys scored more rushing yards tonight than Mississippi State did total offensive yards. Could you just speak more on the rushing game and how you'd say it's gotten to where it is now as opposed to maybe the beginning of the year?
Yeah, again, people were worried about it. I wasn't. We weren't unsuccessfully rushing the ball in the beginning of the year. We just weren't really featuring that part of the game for a variety of reasons. But this is the second week in a row that in an SEC football game, when we had to get big and physical, we were able to get big and physical and pound out yards. And yards are hard to come by running in this conference. There's so many big athletic bodies, and our offensive line is doing a really good job. Our backs are doing a really good job. It was awesome to see Ruben go out tonight and have the night that he had, running for 142 yards and really carrying the rock the way he did. It was really cool to see, and that's a big part of success in this conference, and we got to continue to do it.
Coach, front right, Carter.
this season that Cassius Howell's put together. Just what's kind of impressed you now, up to 7 sacks in 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, he's really good. We tried to tell everybody that in the offseason, and nobody really wanted to hear that. But he's a really talented football player. He's really good at rushing the passer. That's something he does really well too. And so, it starts there. And then I just think, we've been able to get in some situations, especially the last couple weeks, where it's been, you get back into a more normal game where you can go after people on third down. They throw the ball on third down. The first 2 weeks were so strange with some of the third down play calling and how it all worked itself out. Now that you're into a normal, SEC world, and you can scheme some things up for him, you can get him into some matchups and allow him to use his skill sets and use his talents, and he was certainly able to do that tonight.
And Moss came out of the game for a little bit, came back in. Just where's he at, and how? You mentioned it a little bit, but Ruben, what really stood out with his performance tonight?
Yeah, Lev got dinged up a little bit, so he was battling through some things. He should be fine coming out of it, but we wanted to kind of make sure he was okay. And then Ruben was playing so well that it kind of made it an easy decision to just stick with Ruben, ride him tonight. I thought he had his best 2 weeks of practice the last 2 weeks. I think he is starting to understand, not just being a talented back in open space, but how to hit lines and angles to get into open space a little bit more consistently. And I think you're just starting to see him become a more complete back, and he's got unbelievable open field ability. He's learning how to become a back, between the tackles, which will obviously allow him in this conference to get into open field a little bit more often. And so it's been really good to see his development.
To the left, second row, Alex.
When the offense started getting going there in that third quarter, is that about as good a complementary football that you've seen from this team so far this season throughout the rest of the game?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you look at the numbers and you look at how that game played out in totality, I think that was the cleanest, most largest margin of separation between both sides of the ball. There's still obviously a ton of things that we can fix and improve and get better at, but I think we played really complimentary in the second half. We were getting stops on defense, which kept their offense on the field, which really kind of, I think, got them a little bit tired, and certainly got the crowd going and really got a lot of energy into that building.
And you mentioned how you said at halftime y'all needed to get Marcel settled in. Just from what you could see without looking at the film yet, just what did you see from him in the second half that he was able to be more consistent in the passing game?
Yeah, he's a good player. He just, sometimes, in the first half, sometimes it was a rush, sometimes it was a guy in his throw lane, and he just got a little bit fast with his feet and his mechanics. And I think in the second half, Colin did a really good job of getting some rhythm throws, some things that were a little bit cleaner and quicker for him, some little bit less over the middle. We worked the outside part of the field a little bit more, which opened some vision for him, which was really good, and I think it just kind of worked out that way.
Front right, Travis.
Hey, Mike, going back to Damian, what about his skill sets fit so well into the system?
Yeah, I mean, he's really athletic. He's really physical. I think he's starting to get more and more comfortable in what we're doing. That's been great to see. He's a really good blitzer. He's got a lot of twitch and athleticism. And so, he fits exactly. He's a really good complement with Torian. I think the two of them play really well out there together. They're very comfortable together. And so, he played really, really well tonight.
And when you do have to have those kind of conversations that says, be ready, can you usually tell pretty quickly how well that's received from different guys?
Yeah, I think we have a really, really good culture and a really good locker room. I think there's been so many instances of that showing out in our 2 years here. And so, you can see it for sure, but it's been something that has played out really, really well for us.
Coach all the way in the back, Donna.
Coach, felt a little extra loud in here tonight. How pleased were you with the environment the 12th man was able to create?
Yeah, the 12th man was phenomenal. Appreciate everybody coming out in the blackout. I went and put the black on just to represent for them. It was awesome driving in, seeing how many people were in black tonight. It's really cool to see them. They're always behind Texas A&M football, but I think they're starting to get behind this program, specifically the Coach Elko version of Texas A&M football, and that's just really awesome. And so we're always thankful for them. They always show up for us. I think I saw it was the 5th largest crowd again in stadium history. So I think that's the 3rd time this year that we've hit a top 10 crowd. And so, it's a phenomenal place to coach. It's a phenomenal place to be because of them.
Third row, right, Jesus.
Coach, obviously you appreciate touchdowns, but that effort on that Concepcion touchdown, the first one, what does that do for the team to just fight to get in that end zone?
On the what? I'm sorry.
On the touchdown, KC Concepcion's touchdown.
Yeah. I think obviously we were really struggling at that point, and we certainly didn't want to try to punch it in from the 2 at that point because that wasn't really what we wanted to do. And so there was an unbelievable effort by him, a second effort by him to kind of grind his way through it and finish that thing in the end zone. And then obviously going up high and climbing the ladder on the second touchdown when it was still a really, really tight game. And that was another really big play. And so, he didn't have a ton of catches tonight, but the two big ones he had really impacted the game.
Front left, Mark.
Okay. Following up a little bit on Jesus' question, can you talk a little bit about the energy that KC brings? I mean, like that pushing his way into the end zone on that touchdown, the returns where he's stutter stepping his way up.
Yeah.
Just the level of energy that he brings to the offense.
Yeah, I don't know if it's energy as much as I would define it, Mark, as like strength. Like he's a lot stronger than you would think given his demeanor. And I saw that honestly firsthand when we played him when I was at Duke. The year we played him when he was at NC State, they played him at running back a lot. And they were handing the ball off to him between the tackles, and he was really a hard kid to tackle. And I think he's got really, really powerful lower body strength, and I think he's got a really good ability to change direction. And so you have an intense competitor who's got the strength to get through arm tackles and break more tackles than I think you would give him credit for, and then I think that kind of gives the energy behind how he plays the game, because when you break tackles, that gets the crowd going, and I think that's kind of what you feel.
You have always placed an emphasis on third downs, getting off the field. 2 SEC games, your defense has now allowed 1 first down on third or fourth down in 25 opportunities. How impressed are you with what they've been able to do, to get off the field?
We've been good so far. We got 6 more to go. No, I'm joking, of course. Yeah, obviously, it's a big part of the game. It's a big part of what we do. We've been able to put together 2 really good plans. Obviously, the distance helps too. I think the last 2 games we've been able to keep them in some more third and long type situations, and that's always helpful as well. We got to continue to do that.
Coach will stay on the left, 4th row.
So I want to go back to something you said earlier about, the 12th man community getting now bought into the Mike Elko era. What do you think has kind of driven this? You've brought in some of the biggest crowds now that Kyle Field has ever seen in these last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you're winning, that helps. There's no doubt about that. I would hope maybe to some degree it's the humility that this program is showing. I would hope a little bit that it's how this program is taking on being Aggies and being part of this Bryan College Station community. I think those things go a long way. And then I think it's maybe I think we're trying to get a little bit clean and consistent with our messaging so that the fans are very clear what we're asking. And I think we did a really good job marketing the blackout. I think everybody who came to the game tonight knew it was, you know what I mean? And I think those things maybe have improved here in the last year and a half. They've been certainly been a huge emphasis for us to market this program at a higher level. And I just think that that's maybe all together kind of tied into a bunch of people that have a lot of excitement and energy about what's going on with Texas A&M football right now.
Coach all the way in the back.
Coach, for this team to continue to stay poised after kind of a slow start there, what do you think that says about their ability to come out here, not really seem rattled, and to just keep plugging away?
Yeah, I think it shows that they got a lot of confidence in what they're capable of. Again, we'd love to start faster. We'd love to make plays earlier. We'd love to create separation in the game earlier. But when you're struggling, I think the 2 things that have showed up consistently is anytime one side of the ball has been struggling, the other side of the ball has stood up. That's a really great sign for a winning football team. And then I think there hasn't been panic from the time that the team that's been struggling. If you go back to Notre Dame on the sideline, there wasn't panic on the defense. There was just a look of, okay, what do we got to do? How do we fix this? How do we go out in the next drive and try to make a stop? It wasn't, pointing fingers. It wasn't frustration. It was just, what do we got to do to fix this? That's what you kind of saw tonight from the offense. You didn't see this mass panic. You didn't see guys worried about it was just kind of, okay, what do we got to do? Get to the bench. Let's figure this out. Let's keep grinding away. Let's figure out what we got to do. And ultimately, we kind of unlocked the gate a little bit and started having more success in the second half.
Anything else for Coach?
Great. Thank you, guys.